right. And here we are. Welcome. This is Tyler Felty with TEFXIOUS. So, topic today is awakening your potentiality. If we look and understand who we are, we look deep within. We look at the characteristic traits that we have. We identify things and label things that make sense to us, that we claim. But I want to really hone in on awakening a part of yourself that you have not yet awoken to. What do I mean by that? If you think about becoming more and doing more, and you look at what you're doing now, you can identify a couple things. Number one, there's some voids. And voids that are missing in our life, we seek to find and fill. That what we see or that what we feel is missing, we want to go fill. We want to go fill that gap. So know this. Know that when you want to awaken more of who you are, we have to start from somewhere. We have to lay out a foundational piece, a foundational structure. We have to understand how can we become much greater and awaken a part of ourselves that we haven't awoke yet, okay? So first things first, when we awaken to our potentiality, we are giving life to a part of ourselves deep within that we're unhoning, that we're unveiling, we're unmasking, okay? We get to play on that field. Right now, if you look at who you are, what you're able to contribute towards, and you look at this individual, this person that you are, ask yourself, what is it that I have to do in order for me to attain what I wish? Okay. Also ask yourself, what is it that is missing? And write it out. What is that is missing, and how can I fill that? If you were to label and identify those things, then that's a place that we can start, right? So the goal is to identify where and what is missing, and how can we go actually fill that? How can we fill the void? We do that by, number one, identifying. And as we identify, we realize that there's things that I need to develop more. I need to create more. I need to constantly pursue more. So whether that is a skill set, whether that is a characteristic trait, whatever that you wrote down, write it down right now, right? Write it down and take some time to write it. Because once you identify, then we create awareness. Awareness for those things that are missing in our life that we wish to go fulfill. Now, second is to execute. What is it that I have to go do in order for me to learn and to fill this gap, to fill the void? Because you have access to infinite knowledge, aka Google, internet. So for you to find out what is missing, find out what the void is, and to go fulfill it, and to understand, okay, what is it that I have to go fill my mind with, or experience with, or to meet certain individuals that have that knowledge and that can attain it. Now I have to go fill in the gap. I have to literally understand how to be better, learn that new skill, learn that new thing, adapt to it. And the third thing is that how can you master that? Because you can do, and it might be an amateur level, but how do you master, right? How do you master these traits, these voids, what is missing? So now you're on a path of awakening. And now, as we identify, we execute, and then we master. This is waking up your potentiality. You have everything right now in your power to become exactly what you have to. No one says that you can't become this, you can't become, no, don't listen to them. Stupid. It's an idiot. Anyone that would tell you that you can't do something or you're limited by something or whatever the hell it is, fuck them, okay? Don't listen to no one. Listen to your soul. Listen to your spirit. Listen to who and what you wish to conduct and what you wish to produce. Nothing in this world will ever pay much more than you listening to the voice and vision within. So you have to ask yourself, am I taking the time to do all these things, right? Am I going in a direction that I want to go? And if not, how do I self-correct and adjust back into this space? But first, we have to find out what's missing. So you have to wake the fuck up, number one, and realize what is not in my fucking presence, man. What's not in my state, man, in my environment. What's missing? And let's label these things. Let's write it down. Let's put it on a piece of paper. Let's write it on our notes, on our computer, or on our phones. And then let's go out there and figure out, okay, that's exactly what I have to go fill. That's exactly what I have to go learn. And let's become great at it. Let's become a master. Read an hour a day of it. Watch 30 minutes in between breaks in work or whatever, like study, right? Study what is missing. Okay? Don't mimic, don't copy. Don't try to, take someone else's zazz or speciality or try to copy and mimic, man. Like you're losing your authenticity. The person, the being that has the power is true to their authenticity. Write that down. And then what happens is they can conduct and perform and produce based off their originality and their authenticity. And as you start understanding what is missing, you start picking up these little pieces and then start putting it together, and you start putting the puzzle together, man. You start understanding what you need to focus on, what you need to create more. It's a beautiful thing. And I'll give you an example. Like, I used to suck at reading, and I used to suck at studying. I barely passed high school. And I did, but the thing is, I just wasn't focused. And after I got done, right? Like, after I got done with high school, I went and I ended up going to college down south in Florida, and I picked up the habit of reading. And so I asked myself, like, okay, I need to catch up. I need to start devouring information. And I did. And I found The Laws of the Universe at 18. One of the greatest books I've ever read. And it guided me to learn the basic principles and the laws of the universe. Then it actually guided me to certain professionals and doctors. And I literally was on a rampage of listening to certain doctors and understanding philosophy, theology, and understanding, certain ologies and learning principles, how a man should act, and understanding how the mind works. And I realized to myself that it's up to me. It is up to me to produce. And my thinking has to be on point. My thinking has to be accordingly. My thinking has to be superior. It has to be divine. It has to connect with the divine. It has to connect with the infinite. So I asked myself, if I connect with this infinite, then isn't the infinite the possibility of all? It's an unlimited amount of potentiality then. So if I connect my mind and my spirit and my soul, my body to this infinite, then automatically I get fueled with this potentiality that the universe has. So there's never a lack of anything in this world. It's just a lack of awareness. And due to that is because we can't act accordingly because we don't know how, and we don't know the questions to ask. We need to ask very detailed questions, and we need to understand the quality of the question. So you can formulate a thought, But the thought has no tangible substance if we can't ask the appropriate questions. Why? How? What? Where? Who? We have to define these questions into identifying. And you do that and you wake up your potentiality. You connect with the divinity, the infinite intelligence that permeates all of us by asking these questions. And your answers will come. And as your answers will come, you have to act accordingly. From there, you can change anything that you want. And from there, you can act and do as much as you want. There is no limitations. The only limitation that you have is you thinking that you can, or some things that are missing. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe nothing is ever missing in our lives unless we label it. But the thing is, what I mentioned about identifying is very important because you have to identify the voids, things that are missing. And in reality, when you go to work on yourself and you start defining who you are more, you realize that nothing is ever missing. It's just a lack of awareness. And the awareness can be grown, it could be influenced, and it can also be formulated and created due to the questions that we ask, the answers that we receive. And the universe knows. The universe knows that you're operating on this level. And it's awaiting for you to ask the questions. It's awaiting for you to move in the direction, to go for it. Because it's going to guide you. It's going to give you the answers. It's going to correspond with you. It's going to co-create with you. You got to remember, the universe always wants you to succeed and always wants you to go fulfill the things you wish and you desire. And to that extent, we just have to ask accordingly, and we have to come correct and have a greater approach, and we have to act on what we want. When you awaken your potentiality, you just tap into awareness. That's it. And the awareness is going to guide you to create much more in your life. It's going to show you those things that is very fulfilling, very understanding, and very clear. And it's going to put things in your life, and it's going to show beautiful things. And it's going to create so much happiness and love and well-being in your life. And you call it synchronicity, and you call all these things because that's what happens. And then there are times where things are exiting your life. And you start being more aware of what's leaving. The thing, though, is you have to remember, nothing ever leaves us. Nothing is ever leaving us. It just changes forms. It changes energy. It changes states. So again, it comes back to identifying what is missing, executing on going, fulfilling that, becoming aware, and being a master at fulfilling those voids, and then to realize nothing was ever missing. Everything worked accordingly. Things just change. The states change. And as the states change, your potentiality changes. And this is how we grow to more enlightenment levels. This is how we grow and be more in tuned with awarenesses. And now we're operating with the universe. We're operating as a primitive law, right? The law of cause and effect, the law of thinking, and so many other laws. I can go off and rattle them off for you. So I leave you with that. And I want you to understand how true and how meaningful this is, because the moment you ask these questions and you identify what's missing and you go into this state of awareness and you start executing, you start moving in that direction, act accordingly, then you will become more of who you need to become, which gives you more potentiality, more potential for you to be in tune with this awareness, with this presence that you're creating. Makes sense? Well, look, you have a fantastic day. I'm going to head out. You are amazing. You're infinite. And You are awakening. By you listening to this, you are awakening your potentiality. You are creating the life. And if there is a spark of inspiration that flows through this video to you, and you hear it and you listen to it and you get to this part, just know that everything is working accordingly. Everything's working in harmony. Your potentiality is increasing right now as we speak and as we're listening and talking. Take care.